When I started this Gunners Collective, back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Here goes the double up. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I said another one. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Guard, another one. Bye-ya, bye-ya, bye-ya. Order the Wack 100. But. Now, I'm still not happy with this individual. But as you can tell by the thumbnail, there's someone else that isn't too happy, right? But let's speak for reals. I got to thinking, and for the update in a menudo style in direct fashion, let me tell you, I told you guys earlier in the spill that I would try to call him. I tried early this morning. The Vato was sleeping, farting in his bed. He told on my buck naked, right? Going P. Diddy. But I'm going to tell you right now, straight up in real talk. I tried to call him back, to which there was no answer. So I got at a mutual acquaintance. Someone who's my homeboy and just knows Wack like that, right? And also has his number. And he tapped in with Wack 100. These are facts. He tapped in because I was trying to get a hold of him so that way I could get in his earlobe. So I can get at him and see what really is the dealio. See what really is going on. What really is the reason why he went the route he did. Now, I understand, about friction between brown and black. I understand, man, that sometimes when you have an old school mentality, it be like that sometimes. I understand all these different excuses people in the DMs are making up for this, man. But at the end of the day, you got to be held accountable for what you said. Do you have to have these put on you? Not necessarily. Sometimes grown men can sit down and have a conversation and speak it out, talk it out, or speak it out, right? However, or wherever you want to say, or whatever you want to do, man, eventually grown men need to sit down and get on the same page. I said, let's get on the same page, black and brown, unity, right? That's what I push. Anyways, the homeboy tried to get a hold of him for me. He answers the phone. The homeboy says, hey, my boy wants to get at you. Quote, I ain't talking to no Mexicans on power rule. Don't call me about no Mexicans, and I ain't talking to no Mexicans. Click. He hung up on the homie. The homie said, damn, I guess he ain't talking to no Mexicans, that's it. I said, I guess he isn't, right? And that's quite understandable. He's probably thinking it's the old Folsom setup. He's getting set up till he's fed up. Now, that's hard, but it definitely wasn't that. I was going to give him a little piece of my mentality, a little piece of my mind. I was going to let my mind shine right just a little bit. And I was going to ask him exactly how he feels it's right to disrespect another ethnicity. How he feels that he has the right to disrespect any man or woman. But that's just me, right? Now, I know a lot of you say, well, Gunner, you clown him. You clown a lot. You disrespect a lot. There's called clowning and capping and having a good time and having fun. And there's seriousness to this. If the man really feels offended and feels that, he has my number like I have his. He can call me, tap in, and I'll take it easy. Before. This is different now. Okay, now, when you start getting ethnicities involved, and I had a lot of people say, well, Lupe is a Crip. Well, Lupe is from neighborhood this. Well, Lupe is it doesn't matter. She's still Mexican. That's it. She's still brown. Okay, if he would have kept it about the Crippin', that's none of our business. That's a black politic thing, right? A gang thing. If he would have kept it, about her weight or how she looks or anything, it's still not a cool route to go. At the end of the day, it's bullying on a bitch, right? But I understand the situation. Sometimes men will be men. It's locker room talk, only in the public. I wouldn't have nothing to say about that. I'd have been like, damn, he's even going in on women nowadays. That fool don't play, right? But when he crossed the line and he allowed others to also cross the line, because it wasn't just him, there was other people in that clip of a Mexican descent that decided to speak out of turn as well. I felt that if for no other reason, man, I should elaborate and go in, and I'm going to continue to feel that way. But I'm not the only one. See, this is a big genre. There's a lot of people that press for the same goals. They might not necessarily kick it, like myself and the guy on the thumbnail, but at the end of the day, it's like a food stamp to $1. We're definitely going to make you holler, man. We got two different rhythms and two different vibes, but a lot of the same goals. And a lot of the same goals are practicing unity, practicing prosperity for the people, and practicing opening doors for the raza and having our voices heard and felt. Now, one thing I commend AC on, and I'm saying American Cholo, one thing I could commend Gil on is he's constantly striven for that. Is that a word? Striven? Strived? I don't know. At the end of the day, word of the day, striven. Say that 3 times fast. I said, he's actually strived constantly on his channel and has put out a lot of good content. And, and is calling Wack on what he said. Of course he's brown. Of course he might not be Mexican, but he rocks with Mexicans. He's still Latino, homes, so he's definitely Cali Mac. And at the end of the day, he's going to push his narrative and put out there how he feels. Now, a lot of people are saying, how can Gil speak on it when he said racial derogatory terms in the past towards Africanos? Well, I thought we cleared all that up. I thought we understood that Adam 15 and a half definitely clipped and cut and put that out there to manipulate and make it look a certain way. But we've heard the Gil say the N-word. We've also heard your favorite rappers say the N-word. You ain't had no problem with that. We've also heard a lot of Asians say the N-word, and you ain't never had no problem with that. We also heard a lot of different people say a lot of different derogatory terms towards Mexicans, and you ain't had a problem with that. When you have two guys who have platforms such as Wack 100 and American Cholo, it's only a matter of time before two like-mindedness, two mega minds meet in the middle. Now, I heard they're going to have a conversation. I heard the back and forth, the rhetoric. I heard what one side have to say and what the other side has to say. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm rocking with Gil just because he's brown, but I am rocking with Gil because he's brown. Let's just be real. You know, I rock with my black brothers constantly and all day. But in this situation, I feel thrown under the bus myself. I feel belittled myself because I'm brown, man. I've always showed love. I've always showed respect. You know what I mean? To the black people. I've always showed love, and I'm going to continue to do it because that's the type of man I am, and I'm a real one, homes. I don't judge no one group based on one man's observations or one man's propensity to fucking be racial, right? Now, a lot of people cover for Wack. Well, Wack says this, but he don't mean that, or he means that, and he don't say this. Whatever the case may be, he's constantly opening his dick suckers and saying derogatory things to people. And he's running and hiding and gunning and falling and yelling and pushing and cussing and busting and doing what he does. And at the end of the day, none of these are being thrown. A whole lot of this is being ran. Now, when it comes to American Cholo, he doesn't go in on Wack 100. He doesn't even speak about that individual. He stays in his lane, doing his thing, doing what he does, cuz. And on Paru, he's going to continue to do his thing. Now, Wack has been doing that as well. When it comes to a lot of the black business, like the business between him and Brick Baby, I didn't touch on it. It wasn't none of my business. I listened to it. I'm a fan and a supporter of the black community. So of course I'm going to listen to the rah-rah and the cha-cha that's going on, but I'm not going to elaborate on it because I have no horse in the race. I can't put my 2 cents in. Now I'm allowed to do what the fuck I want to do as a brown man, but I felt that that was black politics and black people thing. So I'm going to step back from it. Now, does the brown man have a voice? Most indubitably. And definitely we have a voice here on YouTube and in the world. And we're just making our presence felt. We don't start no stuff and won't be no stuff. The moment that Wack 100 disrespected Tres, that's when there was an uproar in the Mexican community. That's when Mexicans started to feel some type of way. Wack fucked up one time. He got the ghetto pass. Shouldn't have, but got it, right? The next time that this happens, we're saying to ourselves, man, we got to run up. We got to not necessarily run up physically, but in the mind, homes, we got to have a conversation because this is becoming a division tactic. This is becoming ugly. Now, we all know deep down inside, there's always going to be some type of animosity towards black and brown or between black and brown. Let's just state facts here. Let's be real, homes. Let's not add preservatives or sugarcoat nothing. You know, I come from an old school mentality. I come from an old school mentality where black and brown were at guerra constantly, where people tripped on for no other reason than they didn't understand the unknown. Okay, but then I also come from a season of reason, right? I come from black and brown unity also, where the brothers and the northerners, or the brothers and even some of the southerners, started to gel, started to do business together, started to network, started to make things happen, and understood that there's a division between prison and the streets, homes. There's a separation. Now, you could have that old school pinta mentality and understand that in there, man, the world is ran a certain way, and everybody knows that. It's quietly unspoken. Well, now on YouTube, it's spoken on a lot. But at the end of the day, we're here and they're there, and they're going to continue to maintain the mainframe and the main gang like they does, cuz. And we got to do what we do for our gente out here. See, because without here, there's no in there. Within there, there's no out here. So it's up to us to play our positions and play our roles. It's like a fucking chess match, man. There's black and white, right? The brown is in the middle, and the brown will be heard and felt. Now, what AC is doing, I understand his plight. I understand there's a lot of different reasons, and let's be real that go into it. One guy got at me and he goes, well, you're just clout chasing. You guys, you Mexicans are just clout chasing on Wack 100's name. Come on now, man. Stop it. That man bleeds like I bleed. That man, I'm not going to say he smells like I smell. He looks like he smells like worse shit than I do, right? But I'm just going to say we are just grown men. We put our shoes on the same way. The only difference between me and Wack, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is a big difference. You ain't never going to catch me butt naked in the bed upside down. That's facts, right? But, you know, we're not going to speak on that right now. Or did we already? One never knows, does one. The wind blew. Feel that, Wack? Trip. So when it comes to grown men can have conversations. See, real ones in prison, if Wack wants to keep it prison orientated or old school like that mentality, then you understand that before pegada or before a melee jumps off, Holmes, there's words that get spoken on. If people don't come to some type of compromise and some type of understanding, then it could go the other route. Now, I come from an old school mentality where, like I said, there was a lot of division and there was a lot of inclusion, meaning people were together. Okay, me being from Northern California is just a little bit different. We rocked heavily with the brothers, man. The brothers rocked heavily with us. I maintained on the same side of the yard. So I know the get down. I know the realness and I know the fakeness. I know a little bit about a lot of it, right? I know how the get down was. I know who backed my play. I know whose play I backed. And I didn't do it because they were black. I didn't do it because it was a Crip or a Blood. I did it because they were grown men that I respected and I continue to respect. See, I don't judge a whole group or a whole gaggle by one goose or gander, right? What I do is I take a gander and a look at everything and I start to philosophize and understand, man, and put two and two together and recognize when there's a bad fucking seed in an apple, you spit them out. Wack 100 is that bad seed. And I think AC is starting to recognize that. But you say to yourself, well, AC also has made some racial statements. Well, AC also has said the N-word. Well, AC also has a stance and took a stance against the brothers, man. And what I have to say is, I can't call it like an alcoholic. That's something you guys are going to have to present to him and get at him. I'm going to back it. I was going to say black. Straight up. That tells you right there. I'm fucking with the brothers, right? I'm going to back his play and what he does in this situation because I heard it out of my own two fucking big old ears with big old giant earlobes abnormally, right? That Wack 100 disrespected the raza. Okay? Am I going to constantly elaborate on it after this video and keep on going and growing? And nah. It's something that I wish never happened. But it's something that this Vato has a track record of doing. When he did it with Tres, like I said, we gave him the pass, man. Nobody tripped. Remember, it was getting real high power. People were starting to become evolved that he didn't understand. And then this time it's more blatant and more out there. And so many people that come to his defense, it boggles my mind. It's not about what hood Lupe claims. It's not about what color she wears. It's not about if she kicks it with blacks or browns. None of that matters. At the end of the day, he disrespected the gente and the people. And of course, the people want answers. If it takes AC to step up once again and rise to the occasion to be on the forefront, to place himself there, to be in a leadership role, to voice his opinion by the raza, who am I to fucking judge? I'm just going to sit back and watch and eat popcorn. Because at the end of the day, I understand why he's doing it. Two reasons and two reasons only. One, because he's passionate about his people and he feels some type of way and he's not going to let anybody disrespect. And two, why not? He's going to get a lot of views doing it. Let's just be real, Gil. Stop it. That's real, right? That's as real as it gets. Anthony, you want me to lie to you? I'll die with you before I lie to you. But one thing I'll tell you is facts, and for sure, everybody's watching. Everybody's willing to communicate and sit down. Now, I've heard that AC is going to have them on his channel or they're going to communicate in some form or capacity. And I think that's going to be a great thing. And I'm going to promote that. And I hope people sit down to watch that. And I think we take the time to come together as a gente and as a people to get back on a righteous page. Are we always going to be black and brown, our communities? Are we always going to be at odds? We've been through a lot of struggle. You guys have your struggles that you went through, my brothers, and we have our struggles that we went through, right? They might not be on equal grounds, but we've all went through a lot. And when you're an oppressed people and you've been through that, then you can identify and understand the plights of others. See, if you ain't never had to go through no situations, no struggle, no issue, then get the fuck out of my face, because you don't understand. But when it comes to the black people, I understand how it feels for them to be prejudged. I understand what they go through, man. I've been in situations and places where my tattoos and the way I look, and because my skin's a little bit darker than others, that I get placed in certain situations. Hey, anybody of minority status, anybody who is of color, man, we've all been through the struggle. And we need to recognize that. And instead of hating each other and disrespecting each other and throwing each other under the bus and using stigmas, like Home Depot and you people are standing in front of Home Depot, or you should be there, or you got 17 members of your family with roaches, or just blatantly say the W word, man. I feel some type of way about it. Now, I told you, me, myself, you ain't never going to catch me on camera saying the N-word or even catch me behind the scenes doing it because I doesn't do it. It's not in my repertoire. It's not in my vocab. My vernacular is super spectacular. So I don't need to say those words because I believe wholeheartedly they're derogatory and ignorant words, and people spitting them shouldn't. They're buffer words. There's no rhyme or reason to say it. I've been laced up by real big OGs, man, brown and black, that told me, man, that word means nothing. And they definitely won't say it, and so I won't say it, because I rock real recognizes real. Steel sharpens steel as well. But when you disrespect the brown man, if you think that we're going to stand around and just take it, it's not going to happen. And if it takes AC, American Cholo Gil, to voice his opinion, I'm behind it. You know, just like if he disrespected the blacks, well, guess what? And there was a brother that had something to say about it, I'd be behind that, because I'm not behind a black or brown situation. I'm behind a right and wrong situation. And we know, all of us, that that was wrong, what Wack was involved in. Whether he said exactly what is being said that he said, or he didn't, none of that matters. See, I hear a lot of people, they try to cover it up. Well, man, I've always kicked it with essays, or I've always kicked it with blacks. I got none but love. It doesn't matter who the fuck you kicked it with or where you come from. You know what I mean? From the heart, the mouth speaketh. So if you said it, fill it up with unleaded. You said it, Holmes. Now it's up to you to defend that. Well, I ain't got to worry about no man or defend myself to no man. Well, you go ahead and do that and run with that narrative. But that doesn't mean the people are going to stop and just shut up and just bite their tongues on it. You done open up a can of worms, and there's a whole lot of fishermen over here, and we're trying to catch us a motherfucking shark. That's it. It's just what it is. Okay, so a lot of people are speaking on the situation, and American Cholo has stepped to the forefront. He did the same thing with the Tiger situation. He did the same thing when he had to defend himself to Adam 15 and a half. And you know what? And I commended him on all that. I've never ridiculed or bullshitted the man unless it is a personal tip, and I'll say he's ugly as fuck and I don't like him. But that's personal, right? That's how I feel. Okay? Doesn't mean, man, that I don't rock or respect his ways of thinking, because I actually do. It's crazy, but I do, right? And when it comes to Wack 100, man, I even had a little bit of respect for that guy, a little itty bitty, right? But now I don't. And that's just what it is. And I don't because, man, I feel that he's a very divisive person. He's very, you know, he tries to cause conflict and confrontation, sort of like Charleston White, right? And I'm not just saying it because these are brothers, right? Because if it was a Mexican doing it, I'd put his ass on blast too, man. It's just what it is. I don't like people that are racial. I don't like lazy people, and I don't like racial people, because I believe they're all in the same category. They're all in the same boat, bro. They all want something for nothing, right? They all want to be recognized for something they're not, and that's a real one. Anyways, you know what I mean? We're going to see how this plays out and how it pans out. Is Wack going to bubble back 100? Is he going to backtrack and say that he didn't mean it and it's all good? Is American Cholo going to accept it? One never knows, does one. But these are two grown men that one of them is going to champion for the brown people, and one of them is just championing for himself. He's not championing for the black people. This is not a black and brown thing. This is a fucking ugly-ass, wax-faced baboso thing versus a brother that's going to step up. And let's see how it all plays out. Like I said, I'm going to sit back on popcorn, Orville Redenbacher, watch with the best of you guys, and then I'm going to speak on the situation at hand, because that's what I does, cuz. But just remember, at the end of the day, it's all about black and brown unity. We can't let any two people or anybody, because they don't see eye to eye, or because even I don't feel it, right, come between what we have started, man. What we have started is something greater than all of us, something bigger than all of us. And that's the coming together of minds and people, so that way, us, gente, and brothers, man, we can come and get some, man. We want to all get that, man. Yes, sir. I need that. You need that? I need that too. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get every single thing that you want coming to you. And remember, just like I said earlier, gente, I try to call Wack 100. That guy said, I ain't talking to no Mexicans on pow, bro. I said, well, fuck you then. Shit, you ain't got to talk to me. You know what I mean? Now I got to talk about you. It's just what it is. You already know, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears this Raiders crown, and I'm going to continue to struggle and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in, and that's all people, black, brown, white, even my Asian partners. Dun, 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 dun. Coming together, man, as one. Uso, stand up. You know what it is, man. I ain't forgot about you. To my native brothers, this land is your land, man. We're just here, and we're up in it. My name is Bennett. Bang, bang, the gun. Did I shoot that?